Shabbat Shalom. We welcome you all to Shabbat Shalom for this beautiful Shabbat and invite everyone to rise and greet the people around and wish them a Shabbat Shalom as we continue in song. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 ya la la, ya la 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 la. La 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. So I invite you all to take your seats as we quiet ourselves and begin our Shabbat worship. We are so fortunate to receive a long-awaited guest tonight, Rabbi Josh Weinberg, who is the president of the American Reform Zionist Association and a vice president of Israel for the Union for Reform Judaism. He will speak later in our service, but as I was thinking about the content of his remarks, and the fact that Tu B'Shvat, the birthday of the trees, was celebrated earlier this week. And in the Jewish calendar, there are actually 4 New Years, and this is the New Year of the trees. In Israel, on Tu B'Shvat, it's something to be happy about. In Israel, on Tu B'Shvat, over 1 million trees are planted. Planting a tree is truly a sign of hope and belief in the future. And so tonight,
We think about that hope as we think about Israel, and we think about how we nurture and sustain trees just as they nurture and sustain us, and we have the same relationship with Israel. We nurture and sustain Israel just as it sustains us. So we think about that relationship, that interconnectivity, as we kindle the Shabbat candles, and it is a joy and pleasure to welcome up Jaden and Matthias, our B'nai Mitzvah for this Shabbat, to come up with their families for the kindling of the Shabbat candles, all of you. And we turn to page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, be our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of godness, help us find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offering of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Amen. And we turn now to pages 4 and 5 for our Kiddush.
ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום השישי. ויחולו השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את היום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had been doing. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh. Zecher litiat Mitzrayim,
כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim. And as they taste from the Kiddush cup, we are going to turn in our prayer books to page 16. Actually, before we turn to page 16, let's turn to page 8. And as they find their way back to their seats, we read this prayer together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. And now we turn to page 16 for Zamru Ladonai, sing praise to God, and we have much to praise God for tonight.
Zamru Ladonai, Zamru Ladonai. Zamru Ladonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzot v'kol hashofar, hariu livnei hamelech Adonai. Olai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai.
We'll turn now to page 20 for the singing of Lecha Dodi. And as we think about Israel, which we are celebrating and reflecting on tonight, we think about those mystics in Tzfat who went out over the hills to greet the Sabbath bride as the sun was setting. And so we will rise on our final verse and face the entrance to our chapel to greet the Sabbath bride.
Yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabe, yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 penei Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor v'ribor echad, ki ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shemu tiferet v'lichila, ya la la lecha dodi, ya la la likrat kala, ya la la penei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lecho v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machashava techila, ya la la lecha dodi, ya la la likrat kala, ya la la penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5, Hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi ori, shir daveri, kevod Adonai alayech nigla, ya la la lecha dodi, ya la la likrat kala, ya la la penei Shabbat nekabela, boi v'shalom ateret bala, ngam b'simcha u'sohola, tochem boneh amsegula, boi chala, ya la la lecha dodi, ya la la likrat kala, ya la la penei Shabbat nekabe, ya la la lecha dodi, ya la la likrat kala, ya la la penei Shabbat
now to page 28 for our formal call to worship, the Baruch Hu.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la.
Call up Matthias and Jaden to lead us in the singing of the Shema, which is on pages 34 and 35. And as we chant these words, we think about the true meaning of Adonai Echad, God is one, that we are linked past, present, and future. This Shabbat, we read from Parashat Yitro, the recitation of the Ten Commandments. And there is a midrash that tells us that every Jew that ever was or ever would be was there at that moment at Sinai. And so we think about all of us being one, past, present, and future, as we chant these words.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Mazel tov. You both sounded beautiful.
Thank you.
Mazel tov. Thank you. Mazel tov to the Simkins and Udell families. You both shine up here. We've watched you grow up into these beautiful young adults, and we know tomorrow is going to be outstanding. So we have here tonight what Rabbi Glickstein used to call a Lebedika problem, which means it's a good problem to have. We have run out of seats. So if you have a seat next to you, please raise your hand. And those of you who are in the hallway, please come on in and look for people with their hands up. Make some room. Maybe some people will scooch over so you can sit together. We have a seat over here. Liv, seat over here. I'm now the maitre d' as well as the rabbi. There's a seat over there as well, a seat over there. Thank you for coming. Okay, we're going to turn to page 40, and as we chant these words of freedom, we think about everybody who does not have a seat at the table, everybody who does not yet have a place to call home, who is still wandering, searching for freedom. So we thank God for the freedom that we celebrate here and chant these words. Mi Chamocha, page 40.
Mi Chamocha, Ba'elim Adonai, Bi Kamocha, Nedar B'Kodesh, Dora Tehilot, Osef Eleh, Adonai Yimloch, Le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, 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 lai 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 lai lai lai
We're going to turn to page 44 for the singing of Yismechu. I've already mentioned that this week our Torah portion outlines the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 statements or 10 commandments, and one of those is the observance of Shabbat, that we should remember Shabbat. This was actually an exercise in mindfulness long before mindfulness was popular in our culture. We remember Shabbat, we rejoice in it, and we take time to breathe, to pay attention, and simply to be. Yismechu.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עם מקדשי שביעי שבת שבת כולם ישמחו ויתענגו מטובך שבת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג והשביעי רצית בו וקידשו שבת שבת חמדת ימים חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג, זכר למעשה וראשית שבת,
Shabbat.
זכר למעשה וראשית שבת, ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג, ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקורא עונג.
Olay. Now that we are uplifted in song and in prayer, we're going to turn to the central prayers of our service known as Hatefillah, also known as Amidah, which means standing. So I invite you all to rise. We're going to turn to page 46 for these opening words of the Tefillah, the prayer. And then we'll continue silently, each at our own pace, in the words of our prayer book or the words of our hearts. And when you are through, you may be seated.
Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid, tehilatecha. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid, tehilatecha. No worship service is complete without Birkat Shalom, a prayer for peace, for Israel, for all nations, for all of our world. Shalom Rav. You may be seated when you wish. You'll hear a little bit more about Shalom Rav later in our service. Shalom Rav Yisrael, page 60. Tasim le'olam, Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom, Ki ata lechol hashalom, Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Shalom Rav
We have much to celebrate this evening, and part of that is to welcome a new member into our congregation. And so I want to invite up Summer to come on up here, and probably will have to bring her parents with her. Come on up, Summer. Summer and family, David and Vanessa. Oh my. Come on up. Nice. You haven't even heard me yet. So the rabbis tell us that for those who have trouble believing in God, you only have to look right here at this baby as proof. In the Torah we read, there's this line that says, how will I know that you're there, God? And God says, you're only going to know me by what you can see after I'm here. It's like the ripples in the water after a boat, or the cold air blowing out of an air conditioner. We don't see the air conditioner, but we know it's there. And here we have the proof that the universe somehow makes sense and is in order. David and Vanessa, you've chosen to extend a name. That's right, Summer. You've chosen to extend Summer's name with a Hebrew name in front of your congregation, and it's a beautiful moment for all of us. You've chosen a beautiful name, being named after Vanessa's grandma Sonia on the mother's side, Vanessa's great-grandma Bertha on the father's side, and David's grandma Bess on the mother's side. How did I do? Got it right? Right. So a lot of lineage. And you've chosen a beautiful name, Hebrew name, Sima Bat Sheva, which means a treasure of God's oath. Now, in Hebrew, I should just stop now. In Hebrew, every letter has a numerical value, and the numerical value of Sima Bat Sheva is 889. It's a good number, and it is exactly. And every number has another meaning, and the other meaning of 889 is a treasured voice of our people. And so part of your job as parents is to make sure that her voice gets air, if you will. And you do that by paying less attention to teaching reading and writing and math and arithmetic and all that, but rather your job is to teach good and bad, right and wrong, and to raise this child up to be the mensch that she's destined to be. And so now it's my privilege to formally extend this name to Sima. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu kayam et hayalda hazot lehavia ulima ve'yikarei shma b'Yisrael Sima bat Sheva bat David Eliezer v'Shmuela Rachel. Let her be known among our people Israel by the name Sima bat Sheva. May her name be a source of joy to her and inspire her to serve our people and all humankind. May her parents rejoice in her growth of body and soul. And now I'm going to ask all of you to join in this blessing by repeating these words after me. Kashem, Sheniknasa, Labrit, Ken, Tikanes, La Torah, Ulachupa, Ulamasim Tovim. What you've just said is that just as we welcome Sima Bat Sheva into this covenant, so too do we wish for her three things. First, we wish for her Torah, a life of wisdom and intelligence. Bring her to Temple Beth Shalom. She'll be just fine. But more than that, it's a prayer for wisdom, and that you will be wise to pass on the wisdom that you need to. The second thing we wished her was a chuppah, meaning that she should find love in her life and be surrounded always by friends and people that treat her with dignity and respect. And the third thing, number 3, is Ma'asim Tovim, that you prayed that she will have a good name. And she gets that good name, that good reputation through the deeds. And it's all of our job. Everyone that's here is to make sure that she's only doing good in her life. And so now it's my pleasure to extend blessing to her. It's my turn. Here we go. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on up, Cantor. And I'll ask the rest of the rabbis. Anyone that's a rabbi or a cantor in the congregation, come on up. Come on up. This is going to be a lot of, come on up. We got a bunch of rabbis here tonight. We got cantors, we got rabbis, we got people we don't even know are rabbis. If you'd like to be a rabbi, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so reach out your hands to her. There you go. We're all going to reach out our hands. Rabbis, do you know how to do this? Reach out your hands. Cantor.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'ir Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka.
May God always be gracious to you, and may you always be lifted up with a sense of harmony and joy and balance in your life.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And may the light of God's presence always be with you, and may you have a life that is filled with the blessing of shalom, the blessing of wholeness and peace. And let us together say, Amen.
Amen. Simin tova, mazel tova, simin tova, mazel tova, simin tova, mazel tova. Mazel tova, simin tova. Simin tova, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Two times. Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael.
And we're going to take the magic of that joy and that celebration, and we're going to transform it a little bit in our hearts right now. We're going to make a prayer of healing for all those who are in need of healing in our community, in our congregation. And if you have the name of someone you would like added to our prayers, I'll ask you to please just rise. And we're all going to say those names at one time together, and then I'm going to read the congregational list. So if you're praying for someone, please say those names out loud now. In addition to those names, we're praying for Gail Ossip, George Lublin, Moshe Ben Cyril, Bela Uruvain, Lenny Hecht, Bill Meadow, David Siegel, Judith Ryder Cornelison, Muriel Dubrow, Marilyn Sheffman, Randy Aronson, Shirley Aronson, Roberta Ty, Vicki Engelman, Sherry Werbin, Chana Sarah Bat David, Chava Leah Bat Hadassah, Bill Jean Smith, Linda Lee, Rachel Bat Miriam Umordechai, Avram Ben Chana Vishmuel, Doris Oleski, Carol Spar, Evie Cap Martin, Earl Broidy, Claire Block, Joanna Lees, Fred Freeman, Herschel Cannon, Ravi Patel, Vanessa Bat Masha Leah Yehoshua, Joni Glickstein, Joseph Lair. And we continue to pray on behalf of the American and Israeli soldiers who are missing in action, being held captive, or in need of physical and emotional healing. And we pray together a Misher Beirach. It's found on page 253. Please be seated.
Misher Beirach Avotenu מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
In a few moments, we're going to pray the Aleinu, but before that, we're going to pray a Shehekianu, counting our blessing that we're all able to reach to this moment, to this time. And in a moment, we're all going to be standing, but to get there first, I want to invite up to the Bima our bar and bat mitzvah families to come on up here. Come on up. I'd like to invite up anyone who's getting married this weekend. You guys are coming on up here. Here we go. Anyone who's got a birthday, I'm going to ask you to stand. You got a birthday this month, you're celebrating an anniversary, go ahead and stand up. The odds are at least the 12th of you should be standing up. Birthday this month, anniversary this month. We're talking about Israel tonight. If you're going to Israel in the next couple months, stand up. If you've been to Israel, stand up. If you're happy to be alive, let's stand up. And if you're not happy to be alive, then stand up, because the energy will do you good. And we're going to pray Aleinu on page 282.
Aleinu. Okay. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
And let's say a Shehekianu, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehekianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Please be seated.
We have so many things to celebrate tonight, and yet a piece of our hearts might be missing of those who we wish we could be celebrating with. We now take a few moments to think of those who came before us. As a congregation, we think of the 6 million men, women, and children who perished in the Shoah. We think of those who lost their lives pursuing equality, justice, and freedom. This week, we remember the following names as well that have lovingly been inscribed in plaques in our alcove of remembrance: Harold Aronson, Muriel Aronson, Samson Avedon, Morris Berman, Saul Bleemer, Clara Reese Bloom, Mark Allen Cannon, Albert M. Chisling, Estelle Cohen, Jack Norman Dolberg, Leon J. L., Hyman Feld, George J. Feingold, Ben Frackman, Simon Frankel, Ethel Fredin, Lynn Friesner, Edith Gertner, Abraham Abba Goldman, Dora Gottlieb, Joseph J. Gould, Leon Gropper, Francis L. Hoffman, Norman S. Jaffe, Benny Kleinfeld, Max Kraus, Edward Leitner, Rita Levy, Tessie Litt, Philip Mattis, Louis Merwitzer, Sylvia Myers, Sarah Minsky, Eric Osborne, Julia Press, Benjamin Rimmer, Lester A. Russin, Francis Shapiro, David Silvers, Milton William Smith, Helen Snyder, Elise W. Spiesman, Menia Suskind, Mortimer Weiner, Manny E. Winger, Minnie Winkleman, Esther Wolfson, Agnes S. Zalka, and Harold Zinn. We also remember those whose yahrzeits fall at this time. Betty Adler, Marcos Basuk, Molly Bergman, Martha Bernstein, Gertrude Bile, Alan Bildner, Patricia Cintron, Sid Cohen, Leitra Streeling, Charles Fenster, Dorothy Gahn, Priva Goldman, Richard Green, Moises Yoskovich, Magda Kalman, Eula Lastinger, Abraham Leader, Ari Lugerner, Maya Lychowski, Julius McCransky, Alan Meyerhoff, Barbara Miller, Samuel Nash, Shepard Nelson, Sonia Nolman, Della Provis, Mildred Robbins, Sidney Rosen, Minnie Salisbury, Miriam Shore, William Sinrich, Rose Soren, Rose Ashman Strednick, Maurice Sussman, Elizabeth Vanderwalker, Arlene Vanier, Alicia Weissman, Gerald Wynn, Evelyn Friedman Zarin. And we think of those families who remain in the Shloshim the 30 days of their mourning after their loved one has passed. Gertrude Mark, Amos Oz, Jean Westcoat, Bernice Sir, Wendy Barron, Jose M. Ruiz, Jeffrey Allen Jones, Joan Semsker, Margaret Hartman, David Koenig, and Ruth Morhaime. If there's people who you are thinking about at this time that you'd like to share their name aloud, I ask you to please rise. And as my hand passes where you're standing, say that name out loud, and in a moment we'll all join together in saying Kaddish Yatom on page 294. We all join together as we rise and turn to page 294. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Olmeo Maya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithale v'yithalal. Shemei dekudasha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam levarcha, may their memories forever be a blessing, and let us all say, Amen.
And you may be seated. I'm going to call up Glenn Dreyfus to share some greetings and deliver some announcements, if he can make it up here through the crowds.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Temple Beth Shalom, the clergy and staff, it's my pleasure to welcome you here tonight. For those of you who are new to the temple and would like more information about our community and our programs, please see me, any of the board members, any of the clergy after services, and we'd be happy to speak with you. Mazel tov to David and Vanessa, there they are, and Summer, and also to the Simpkins family on Jaden's bat mitzvah tomorrow morning, and Ariel and Dahlia on Matthias. Matthias's bar mitzvah tomorrow afternoon. Times for arrival, families, for the morning service? 10 o'clock for the morning service, and for the mincha? 4:15. 4? Okay. 4, just to be safe. A few announcements of upcoming temple events. On January 30th at 7 p.m., Mark Baranek is going to kick off his 4-part series on the upcoming Israeli election. And you can see Mark or the temple website for more information about that event. On Saturday night, February 2nd, it's our Shalom Fest, honoring our dear friend and apparently Israeli election expert, Mark Baranek. Please join us. We already, I believe, have more than 400 people signed up for the event. It's going to be a great night of music and celebration, so please come. And then finally, on Sunday, February 10th, it's our annual Mitzvah Day. There are many, many great events that the whole family can participate in to help serve the community. You can see Rabbi Bear for more information about the events, or on the temple website where you can see a list of all the events and also sign up. Finally, please join us in the Welcome Center after services for the Oneg. And again, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Glenn. It's now my pleasure to call up Karen and Mark Revo, or just Karen Revo, past president of our synagogue, and along with Mark, they chair our Israel committee, and Karen is going to welcome our special guest. Good
Shabbat Shalom. So a few years ago, our temple board created a new mission statement for our congregation to help us be very explicit about what is important to us. And we identified 5 areas that we really value: spirituality, repair of the world, education, community, and Israel. Our core value, Israel, reads, we support the Jewish people, the land of Israel, and the state of Israel. Notice it's nothing about the politics. Above all, we love the people, the land, and the state of Israel. It's important that we never take Israel for granted, that we are always building a connection to our Jewish homeland. This congregation has always placed Israel as a core value, beginning with our founding rabbi of blessed memory, Rabbi Leon Kronish, followed by Rabbi Glickstein, and now continuing with Rabbi Pomerantz. However, as part of our renewed explicit focus on Israel, we created an Israel committee, and I'm proud to now co-chair it with my better half, Mark. If any of you are interested, please talk to us. You're interested in joining. I also want to say, on a personal level, this is a longer discussion for another time, but Mark and I have fallen so in love with Israel that this summer we became dual citizens and made Aliyah to Sfat. So we spent a lot of time there. On a national level, our Reform movement, our national body known as the Union for Reform Judaism, made up of almost 900 congregations across North America, has just this summer taken a bold step, a groundbreaking step in a renewed commitment to Israel engagement. The Reform movement has declared that it wants all of us, all congregations and all individuals, to increase our relationship with Israel so that Israel is a core component of our identity as American Jews. Just like here at Temple Beth Shalom, the Union for Reform Judaism wants to make sure that Israel is a core value. And this brings me to our guest speaker. We are honored tonight to welcome to our bima Rabbi Josh Weinberg. Come on up. Josh is the new and first vice president of the Union for Reform Judaism for Israel Engagement. This is a new position, and he is our founding vice president in this position. In this role, Rabbi Weinberg is now the national leader to strengthen our Reform movement's relationship with Israel. Many of you may know that Rabbi Weinberg has served as the president of ARTSA, the Association of Reformed Zionists of North of America, for several years. He was ordained as a Reformed rabbi in Jerusalem, served in the Israeli army, and the most important fact that I leave you with is he is the spouse of Mara and the father, the Abba, to 4 little girls, Noah, Ella, Mia, and Alma, and he has pictures if you ask. He is going to talk to us tonight about Israel, living the dream, facing the reality. Let's welcome Rabbi Weinberg.
Shabbat Shalom. If only my mom could hear. Such a nice introduction. Thank you. Shir HaMa'alot B'shuv Adonai et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholmim. A song of ascents we read in the book of Psalms, that when God brought back those that returned to Zion, to the land of Israel, we were like dreamers. And on Shabbat, maybe later this evening, we'll begin our grace over meals, our Birkat HaMazon, with this prefacing paragraph from Psalm 126, where it says that we are in fact returning to Zion like dreamers. And together I'd like to begin our Shabbat as dreamers. What are your dreams? What are your dreams for your children who are becoming adults in the Jewish world tomorrow? What are your dreams for your children who have just entered into the world? What are your dreams for your family, for your community, your congregation, for the Jewish people, for the state of Israel? And while we're here to dream together, I want to tell you what an honor it is for me to be here at Temple Beth Shalom here in Miami Beach. I want to thank Rabbi Pomerantz first, and Karen and Mark, of course, and Cantor Siegel, and I want to give a special shout out to my friend Rabbi Mo, as I'm told, Rabbi Amy Morrison, who we've gone way, way back. And my only regret is that I can't be here next Shabbat, next weekend, to celebrate with my dear friend Mark Baranek with this so well-deserved honor of all of your years of commitment and service to your congregation and the Jewish people. And as I listen to the mission statement in which you articulate your feelings and your connection and your relationship with the state of Israel, I want to tell you how wonderful it is that your community has decided to take that step, to make that commitment. As you understand that it's not only for your congregation, but from my vantage point, your congregation is an inspiration to congregations across our entire movement. And you should feel proud of all that you bring, not only bringing shlichim from Israel to spend time in your congregation, not only to taking multiple trips throughout the year, not only for deciding that it's a priority to bring Israel education to your teenagers, but to make that commitment that you are part of something bigger than just your congregation, bigger than the 4 walls of your buildings can hold you in. You are part of this Jewish people, and you have set your fate to be together as we create the next chapter of the future. As we're thinking about dreams, let's go back to one fateful moment in our people's recent history. On May 14th, 1948, the 5th day of the month of Iyar, Tashach, as Shabbat's arrival was imminent, David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, declared the independence of the state of Israel, fulfilling that 2,000-year-old dream. And I want to say something that might be obvious. At the risk of telling you something that you already know, I'll say it anyway. That in my biased and subjective opinion, the state of Israel is an unbridled success story. Is it a success story beyond the wildest dreams, not only coming to a land and creating our own state, reviving the Hebrew language, a revolution in what it means to be Jewish, And I'm sure you're well aware of all of the various achievements that we've made in the world of technology and medicine and science and art and culture. How many of you have been to Israel before? Psh. How many of you grew up in Israel? A few? How many of you have been recently in the last few months, years? And how many of you are planning to go in the coming future? Rabbi Pomerantz, we should see everyone's hand up, I think, those who are planning to go. It has been a complete success story, I would say. That doesn't mean, however, that we haven't made our fair share of mistakes. And it doesn't mean that we can sit back and relax and say, okay, everything's fine now because we have a state. In fact, in the moments prior to that declaration, there were many questions that were still unanswered. Did you know that the actual name of the country had only been finalized in the days before the deliberation over a somewhat fundamental question of what we were going to call our state? Another big question, as Ben-Gurion was prepared to declare independence, the question was raised, what are the borders going to be of your state? And a rather large, looming philosophical question of, as we are declaring the first Jewish state, was, what is religion going to look like? What is it going to mean to be Jewish in this Jewish state, which was relegated to a conveniently vague and open statement as part of its declaration? Now, almost 71 years later, really only one of those three existential questions has been solidified. Guess which one? And in fact, the dream of what we wanted to create is articulated succinctly in this week's Torah portion. I won't ask our bar and bat mitzvah students to recount by memory, as I'm sure that they can do, but I'll share with you that moments before Moshe Rabbeinu, moments before Moses delivers these 10 commandments, God tells him what to say to the Jewish people, to Bnei Yisrael. It says, "V'atem tiyu li mamlechet kohanim v'goy kadosh, ela advarim asher tedaber Bnei Yisrael." He says, you must tell them that we are not going to be like any other society. We are going to be a mamlechet kohanim. We are going to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Wow. Wow. But no pressure, as it were. This dream of our Jewish people to create a Jewish society that was going to be a mamlechet kohanim and a goy kadosh, this kingdom of priests and a holy nation, was further articulated in Israel's founding document, in Israel's aspirational articulation of what it meant to be the state, where it says that this state of Israel will be open for Jewish immigration and for the ingathering of the exiles. It will foster the development of the country for the benefit of all of its inhabitants. It will be based on freedom, justice, and peace, as envisaged by the prophets of Israel, and it will ensure complete equality of social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, or sex. And it will guarantee freedom of religion, conscience, language, education, and culture, and it will safeguard the holy places of all religions, and it will be faithful to the principles of the Charter of the United Nations. And while the creation of the state of Israel was nothing short of miraculous, in my humble opinion, I think it's safe to say that the Jewish state has yet to reach its full potential. That if you were to read the news, we might not say, yes, of course, a mamlechet kohanim and a goy kadosh. Of course, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Anyone who, of course, follows along closely as to what's going on in Israel could rattle off a disturbing demonstration of difficult and disdainful examples of impropriety, corruption, inappropriate behavior stemming from the leadership of our state. You may have noticed that for some time now we have been beleaguered and embroiled in a conflict that is both regional and with our Palestinian neighbors that has yet to come to an end. Now, this may leave some of you with a waning sense of optimism or even slight pessimism, and some thinking that the actualization of the dream might be further away than we had thought. However, what Zionism taught me was that we are in fact responsible for our own fate. We can bring this self-determination, and let me share with you the good news. The good news is that Zionism was in fact a movement for social justice. Zionism was a movement with the goal of tikkun olam, to repair the world and make our society better, to be this light unto the nations. Did you know that Israel has in fact, in addition to all of its high-tech accolades as a startup nation, also boasts the highest percentage of non-governmental organizations per capita? Meaning that every day someone else in Israel wakes up and says, how can I do good in the world? How can I help improve our society? So they form a nonprofit organization, which then forms an American Friends of that nonprofit organization, which I hope that you all support. Every single one of them, and ours, of course. We see movement after movement that starts from the grassroots. Protests and social movements that are coming with the one goal of how can we be a better Jewish state. And amongst those I want to share with you is, of course, the growth, the expansion, and the reach and the contribution to Israeli society that is our reform movement. And in fact, it is through this lens that I arrived at my own personal quest for Zionism. You see, I grew up very active in our reform movement, camping movements, youth groups, synagogue. And yet I was also a seeker. And I found that coming to Israel, moving to Israel, making aliyah, as Karen and Mark shared with you that they did this past year, was in fact the answer to my Jewish identity. And upon arriving in Israel shortly afterwards, I asked the question, if Israel was the answer to my Jewish identity, what in fact was going to be my Zionism? You see, I was young and idealistic, and I'm still young and idealistic, but with this romantic notion that I was coming to Israel to drain the swamps and work the land and be an old-fashioned Zionist. And my friends laughed at me and they said, that's nice, but you're about 100 years too late. They said, you should go into high tech. I said, well, that's all well and good, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to build an app or what a semiconductor does or all those things. I'm a Jewish educator. And have you ever heard of rabbis or cantors receiving their calling? You familiar with the concept? Well, fortunately for me, mine came in the form of a phone call. Sometimes recognize the modern miracles. When someone calls you on the phone, that could be your calling. And it was a friend of mine saying, it's nice that you're working with affluent American Jewish teenagers coming to study here for the semester, but I'd like you to work with some Israelis, and not just any Israelis, but some tough Israelis. He says, I want you to come with me next Shabbat to the town of Kiryat Gat. Anybody heard of it ever? Yeah. It's halfway between Tel Aviv and Beersheba. You go to the end of the world and turn left. And you'll arrive at this dusty development town full of a great diversity of immigrants to Israel. And I was invited to come to a boarding school where I was to be the Shabbat guy. I said, you want me to be the Shabbos goy? And he said, no, the Shabbat goy. I want you to lead Shabbat services and have discussions with the students. And I said, okay, I grew up in youth movement. I can do that. And I showed up on a Friday afternoon, eager and a bit anxious for this new experience. And as I watched the children ages 8 to 18 who were in this boarding school because their parents couldn't take care of them, I soon noticed a fistfight that broke out over who would have the honor of passing out the Sidurim. Yikes. Unfortunately, I was met by one of their madrichim, one of their counselors, who came over and introduced himself and said, you're the new Shabbat guy. And we began to talk, and he said, tell me something. Is that a slight American accent I detect in your Hebrew? He says, you're not from here, are you? I said, no, I came here in Aliyah 3 or 4 years ago. And he said, yeah, well, okay, they're going to eat you alive. Remembering the fist fight. He says, but don't worry, I'm going to help you. He says, come with me quickly. I'm going to teach you a song that we sing here. And we are the only people in the entire state of Israel, in the entire country, that sing this song. And if you sing this song, well, then the students will go, they'll welcome you, they'll open up to you a bit. I said, oh, thank God for this nice madrich. And he said, come, we don't have time. And he began to sing. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha Tasim. He said, I started to laugh. He said, you know that song? I said, I grew up in Chicago, 2 miles away from Cantor Jeff Klepper. And he said, I don't know who that is. I said, I was the head song leader of my Reformed Jewish summer camp. And he said, I don't know what that is. I said, Cantor Jeff Klepper, he's the guy who wrote the song. Now, you've all met Israelis before, right? What's the worst thing for an Israeli? It's not terrorism, it's not anything of that. It's to be a friar, as we say. It's to be a sucker. And he said, if some cantor in America told you that he wrote that song, he said, the song is in the Siddur. I said, yes, I know the song is in the Siddur. He wrote the melody. Okay, doesn't matter. He said, can you sing the song? Yeah. Okay. So we go in and we begin what was a painful Kabbalat Shabbat. If you remember the fist fight. And as we got, just like we did tonight, through the Amidah, and I mustered up all the strength and energy that I could find, and I closed my eyes and I began singing with the students, Shalom Rahav Yisrael Amcha. And like magic, they all straightened up in their seats and they stopped pinching each other and they, looked forward and they started to belt out this Israeli accented off-key version of Shalom Ra'av. And as I watched them, it hit me. As I watched these students, ages 8 to 18, who were sitting there, boys and girls together, praying out of an Orthodox Sephardic Siddur, Israelis from the former Soviet Union, Israelis from Ethiopia, Israelis from North Africa, Israelis from all over the place. That was it. I realized what my Zionism was going to be. You see, I realized that it's too late to drain the swamps and work the land, and I'm no good at high tech, but I can bring Reformed Judaism to Israel. I can help work with Israelis to reimagine, redefine what it means to be Jewish in the Jewish state. I can add something to this society in which now the polarizing dichotomy between religious and secular no longer answers the needs of the mainstream. And we can help provide that essential community and identity for those Israelis who are waking up to the reality that having a Jewish state doesn't necessarily mean having a Jewish community. And I began to work, and that sent me to the Israeli rabbinical program of our Reform movement. And I realized that we are trying to make change in Israel through two main avenues. One is through our congregational movement that is actively creating alternatives for what it means to be Jewish in the Jewish state. We have now over close to 50 congregations, and this past Yom Kippur, we ran over 70 minyanim throughout the country. The other branch, of course, is our advocacy work. And then our Israel Religious Action Center is actively campaigning, both in the Knesset and the courts, to fulfill those words that we read in the Declaration of Independence. That Israel be equal and tolerant. That Israel afford a freedom of religion and a freedom from religion. Realizing that not only is there more than one way to be Jewish, but in fact there is more than one way to be religious. And we as religious Zionists, in fact, have the obligation to say that our state be both Jewish and democratic, and that if it is not democratic, it cannot therefore also be Jewish. We have an obligation now to when so many in our movement and so many in this country are wringing their hands from Israel, our obligation is to roll up our sleeves. Tomorrow morning we will read and pray the words together. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh kulanu mehera lo'oro. That we wish for a new light to be upon Zion, and may all of us merit quickly in our days from that light. I welcome you to join me on this journey of creating a new light, creating a new connection and a new relationship with our people and our state. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Weinberg. And for those of you who want more learning with him, tomorrow he will be leading Torah study at 9:30 and participating in our minyan at 10:30, delivering the Devar Torah. Thank you for that inspiration. We are going to conclude this beautiful Shabbat worship tonight in song with the words of Hatikva. Our hearts are filled with hope and promise, and we invite you all to please rise as we face our flag of Israel.
Kol od balev penima, nefesh Yehudi homiya, ulafate Mizrach kadima, hayin letzion Sophia, Odov tikvatenu, Hatikva bat shnot apayim, liot amchovshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion be'Rushalayim, liot amchovshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion be'Rushalayim.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Sabbath of peace.